The pandemic has caught everyone by surprise and has thrown our complete life out of gear. The world economy is in chaos right now. We have businesses that are grappling to survive, and SMEs and startups are undoubtedly the worst hit. As per a survey done by NASSCOM on 250 B2C startups, it's been identified that almost 60% of those startups are on the verge of shutting down operations because they have cash reserves that are just about enough to last for about 3 months. Is nature some way forcing us to rethink the ways in which we run our lives and livelihoods? What should business owners typically be doing to emerge stronger out of this situation? To have a discussion around this, we have invited on this show Arjun Sarkar, who's the CEO and Head of Investment Research at Everguard Life Ventures Private Limited. Hi, Arjun.
Hi, Sheetal. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking. A quick introduction about you. Arjun runs an investment management firm called Everguard Life Ventures Private Limited, managing financial assets of high net worth individuals across the globe, including CXOs of large and mid-sized firms. He personally strategizes and structures multi-million dollar portfolios for select ultra high net worth clients and regularly speaks at wealth forums. Before moving to India, he has spent almost a decade in Canada, where he was managing a multi-billion dollar account for a Fortune 500 company. He's an MBA in strategy and finance from University of Toronto, which has consistently been ranked amongst the top 10 colleges in the world for finance. He's successfully leading his investment management firm in the current scenario of extreme economic stress. That's like a very difficult task to do, Arjun. So, yeah. So anyways, I think this conversation is going to be very, very critical. I'm a small business owner myself, and I understand what kind of challenges this pandemic has posed for all of us. So help me understand, what are some of the lessons that you think that this pandemic will leave for us, especially speaking with reference to the entrepreneur community, as far as financial management is concerned?
Well, thank you for the kind introduction, Sheetal. And I think the very first question that you posed is a very relevant question. And I would suggest that not only for today, but in terms of financial management, any lessons depend on some core principles which are evergreen. I would bring up three core principles, which I found in my experience are relevant like this, but even more so now in the current scenario, right?
Yeah.
So the first core principle as it relates to financial management is for businesses is cash flow is king, right? Now, I remember from my MBA days, around 15 years back, we had a Professor Rami, who used to take financial management for us. And in every lecture, he used to at least repeat this mantra once, okay, that cash is king. I just changed his mantra by adding another word, that cash flow is the king, right? Because after the 2008 financial crisis, and having run the business for so many years now, I found the teaching was very, very relevant, right? So let me try to explain with a quick analogy. Suppose you are thirsty, right? And you need water, and you are stuck in your house because of COVID, and the water supply is cut off from your house. But the good news is you have within 50 meters of your house or society a reservoir full of water. Problem is not flowing in. So your problem is still not solved. There is ample liquidity, no pun involved. Like you would have heard that the government is spending so much on stimulus package, the banks are flooded with liquidity, so on to speak. But it doesn't do the entrepreneur any good, especially for a small and medium-sized firm,
if he's not able to access it.
If the tap is not there and the water is not flowing in.
Yes, very true.
Right. Water is there, but the water has to flow in. So same with cash flow, right? It is the bloodline. If your cash flow is out of whack, you are in serious trouble.
Deep
if
trouble.
your cash flow is in order, then COVID, war, economic crisis, nothing will matter. Let me tell you, right?
True,
So now at a very fundamental level, everybody understands that cash flow, you have to have positive cash flow. So if on a monthly basis, if the inflow is more than the outflow, you are in a good position, right?
Obviously, yeah.
So that is fundamental, but there are some unique strategies that you can apply to manage your cash flow, which I think we'll get into a little more elaborately. Now, I just wanted to stress on the principles, what you should be focusing. So that's one, cash flow is king. The second one is profit first. So Flipkart, if you remember in 2015, was the darling of investors, right?
True.
They did their first big $1 billion sale in 2015 after they had reported a vanity metric, if I could use that word, called gross merchandise value of $1 billion. They had crossed in 2013-14.
Okay.
All right. So, and this big $1 billion sale was such a success that they actually threw a lavish party. They invited the film actor Akshay Kumar. I'm sure they must have spent crores on it. But if I were to ask you this question, Sheetal, do you think how much profit did they make in that year? If you could just venture a guess.
Well, pretty hard for me to do that, but I'm definitely sure that, they may not have really made much, would they?
Yeah. So first of all, they made nada. They actually had a 2,000 crore loss.
Oh, damn. Okay.
All right. And this is Flipkart we are talking about, not a small and medium-sized enterprise by the way they branded themselves. But if you ask me, was the business being run in a good way?
In the right way,
Or in the right way? I don't think
absolutely
so.
not.
Based on the principle, profit first. Now, the third principle is the most important principle. The third principle is you have to manage the company finances and personal finances separately.
Okay.
Right. Now, I speak to a lot of entrepreneurs, right from people who are drawing in revenues of 1 crore to 100 crores in a year. And let me tell you, 90% of those entrepreneurs and business owners are not following this principle. Fundamentally, why this is important is the entrepreneur or the founder or the founding team, it has invested everything in their business.
In the venture, that's right.
And if they do not get the salary or they do not get the salary, because typically what happens is you would be able to relate to this is when the money comes in, we'll take the income as and when it happens. Or on the worst case side, you do not take the money because there's COVID, right? How can I give myself a salary?
Yes.
I have a business to run.
Correct.
Right? That's the mindset. But I would argue that the entrepreneur or the founding team are the most valuable employees. They've given their time and effort, right? So they should be drawing their money. And what would they do with that money? They will invest it, right? If they get their money and there's an investable service, they'll be investing that money. Again, cash flow from a personal front. And even from a business front, the business is managed properly because you can forecast cash flows well, because you know predictably that how much money is being paid out as salary.